everybody, it's Brandon again, back for the third episode in this goal setting and this communication and this connecting setting series that I'm doing. This is really like week 6, but episode 3. Past couple of weeks have been pretty busy for Christmas and doing some traveling and all of the other things that go on in there. Probably one of the busiest times of my year, but then again, I keep my year pretty busy throughout. So it's going into the new year. Definitely going to try to be a lot more consistent with doing these straight through and every week, bringing something that I've learned from that past week to everybody. I know I said that whenever I started these, but we'll do our best and we'll keep pushing forward going on. This scenario came up recently where I was asked to offer some encouragement to some acquaintances and to some people that I know. And I realized 2 things right off the bat. First off, I had no idea what's going on in these people's lives. So what do I say as an encouragement? What do I offer, and what not advice can I give, but something to help lift them up in their time of struggle or whatever they're going through? Do I say a platitude, or do I send them a, hey, hope everything's going okay text? I mean, those things could suffice. A praying for you could have sufficed, but is that actually connecting on this realm of a little deeper connection that I'm exploring and that I'm looking into? Is that actually connecting with the people just to give them a platitude or to tell them, hey, I'm praying for you? While that is all well and good, and while I am doing that, I am trying to pray for them and to put their name before God. Is that enough to just tell them that when it comes to connecting? And that leads me to the second question that I had, and how effectively can you actually encourage somebody when you don't have a lot of influence with that person, or you don't have any influence with that person? Looking back on my own experience going through chemotherapy and some of those things that I went through back in college, I would receive those same type of texts that I talked about just a minute ago. The I hope you're doing okay, hope you're doing well, praying for you type platitudes and type texts that I didn't take lightly. I internalized them, but they didn't go very deep. I just kind of took them on the surface. I passed it off in the, oh, that's nice of them kind of category. And I may be a little cynical about it these days whenever I'm giving it to somebody else, but a text message just seems too easy and too simple to not get a reply or to anything else. And I'm not looking for any type of response from them, but to try to really actually effectively encourage them to where it's not just that surface. So I'll be straight up and honest from everybody in this video. I have been hiding from making it, and actually this is the 3rd attempt that I am shooting it. So it's been a rough one trying to make, even through these times. It's not really any excuses, but I tend to hide from some things that are hard whenever they're coming up, whether it be a paper or whether it be a video that I'm trying to make or just a hard conversation that I have to have with somebody. I put it off, and I think that's where a lot of my procrastination comes from. So I have been hiding from this video for the past 2 or 3 weeks, and it's been hard to put into words what I've been feeling towards this subject, towards this next step and these next steps in communication that I have to work on and in order to become better at, because they're difficult. And I'm coming to the realization of how difficult this process is going to be and how much work I'm going to have to really put into it. So connecting with people is tough up front. I mean, at the very beginning and the very outset, especially for an introvert like me, it can be done, but it's tough. It involves caring more about them than about yourself. And ultimately, connecting is never, ever about me. It is never about us. It is always about the other person. When we're trying to connect, the focus has to be on that other person and not on us. Like I mentioned with trying to encourage people, that focus then has to be on them, on what they need, and not on us feeling good about ourselves. Even this initial connection, and even if it's just an acquaintance that we're connecting with, it's really a form of relationship building. It's those first steps in relationship building, and being able to do that effectively is going to take energy, practice, and a lot of intentionality to become proficient in it. And that scares me because I see the work that is going to need to go into it. So I'm most definitely not proficient at either of those things, relationship building or connecting in general. So I appreciate everybody that's coming and listening to me talk about it. But if you really want to study it and study along with me, you really got to go look at people and great communicators like John Maxwell or Zig Ziglar. And there are so many other ones in the world today right now that I appreciate you walking along with me in my process for it. So what scares me about the work that goes into all of this is that in my head, I see connecting as the long relationship process, and that in order to contain a connection or a relationship, that it has to have that continual and intentional work over a long period of time. I'm having trouble disconnecting in my head that true, deep, close friendship and relationship, and then that connection with somebody in a moment or in several moments over a period of time. And the prospect of having a lot of deep relationships and the work that goes into those scares me. I know to a degree how much work goes into just a few close friendships and a few close relationships. And that's tough in itself to keep those up. And to have a bunch of those does not make me want to continue in this process. So I'm trying to figure out how to differentiate the two and to really focus in and work on one or the other at this point, and to really work on connecting with people and continuing that connection in different points of time without moving into that deep relationship. Well, I mean, even pastors themselves that pastor large churches can't do it by themselves. They can't pastor a multitude of people by themselves because there's not enough time and there's not enough energy that they have to be able to effectively connect and communicate and really get down to the level of people's lives by themselves. So this is my struggle of December, is really trying to find that medium of truly focusing on whom I want to connect with in a moment or in a time, or even if it's a group of people or an audience, if I'm speaking to somebody or if I'm teaching a class, trying to connect with them on a deeper level than I might otherwise. And who knows, a deeper connection might come out of some of those, or a deeper friendship might come out of some of those connection points, or it may not, and both of those are okay. But in Everyone Communicates, Maxwell tells a story of Nabi Saleh, and I may have butchered that name. I didn't look it up beforehand. Pardon me if I did. But he tells a story of this businessman that acquired some rights for the Gloria Jean's coffee chain and took the chain to Australia from its home in Chicago. The Chicago business model, they took and copied it and moved it to Australia as well. And after a little while, that model, they found that just didn't work in Australia. So they had to take and figure out why it wasn't working and what was different about it and what they needed to change in order to make the business successful in Australia. And so as Maxwell was talking to this and telling the story, was talking to this businessman, he relayed that the businessman found that the company was not a company that was in the coffee business serving people, but the company is in the people business serving coffee. Now, I've heard this statement around a couple of different times before in different avenues or different aspects, and it has varied a little differently, but it's something I think I need to take and apply to my encounters with people, and that anything that I am doing, whether it be my corporate job, whether it be church leadership, any interaction with people that I have, I really need to be in the people business and to offer whatever it is that I'm offering at the time, and really just offer what I'm learning. Kind of the same thing I'm doing in these videos with all of you, is offering up just what I'm going through and what I'm learning as I'm learning it. So those are my thoughts and observations on this communication process from the past couple of weeks. And really my big takeaway is that I really have to focus on people. I have to become a people person, that I have to care about them more than I care about myself, or care about not wanting to look dumb or not ask the wrong thing, and just ask them and really be interested in them. So that's all I've got for this week. Like and subscribe down below. You know the things to do. Every YouTuber tells you to do it. Before you go, I want to wish everybody a happy new year. I know everybody is happy that we are finally moving into this new year. It holds kind of a new meaning to a lot of us, that we're starting a new year and starting over. There's a lot that still has to be done from this pandemic and everything, but I know we're all excited to move into it, excited to see what God has in store for this coming year. And I can't wait to walk into it and to build these communication skills with all the rest of you. So have a happy new year, stay safe, and God bless you. We'll see you next time.